The Elephants in the Room is about a major problem or controversial issue that is obviously present but avoided as a subject for discussion because it is more comfortable to do so. Let's talk about these major problems that shines bright like a gleam, the ones we wish to avoid because generation after generation we're known for the same thing, or these controversial issues that keeps popping up on our screens. Let's discuss to relate. Come heal with us. So, hi guys, welcome to the second episode of Elephants in the Room. So, we're going to go ahead and jump right into our prayer. Bow your heads, close your eyes. Father God, in the name of Jesus, I just want to say thank you, Lord God, for breaking generational curses, Lord God, for building us up, Lord God, so that we're able to help our mothers to grow, and help our grandmothers to grow, and help our sisters and our aunts and our cousins to grow, because we are women of God, and we are walking in as a woman of Proverbs 31, and standing on God's promises and doing the work of clearing our chakras. We're allowing the people around us to see this growth, and it's manifesting into their lives so that they can grow, Lord God. And we just want to continue to build up these relationships, Lord God, build up these women around us, Lord God. Continue to build us up so that we're able to be used as a vessel, leading people to your kingdom, Lord God, leading people to healing, Lord God, leading people to really learn themselves and who they are and learning their triggers, Lord God. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Lord God, we thank you for allowing us to endure what we've had to endure, Lord. We understand that those things that we have went through are things that was necessary so that we will be able to do what you have called for us to do, Lord God. So we thank you for keeping us and keeping us safe and keeping our minds stayed on you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. So, since the topic is on parents and children, today we're going to be doing poems on this segment. Love, toxic love is the title of my poem. Because toxic love seems to be all I can give, but don't blame me because it was all I can get. I'll never forget the times I was used as a kid. I'll never regret the times that I was misled. My mother lost her mother, so the best is what she did. My father lost his father, so his feelings he hid. As a result of their upbringing, toxic love was amid, causing me to be unexpressive and timid. The ultimate lesson in the end helped me to begin again, helped me to open up, and taught me to regain and remember whose blood is in my veins. Remain sane and not live in vain. Forget the pain and help to obtain the best gift that helped me to stay in my lane. Help me to refrain from self-sabotage and defeat that was causing me to be weak, leaving me unstable to speak and overly eat. By digging deep, I learned to love me, which helped me to love more genuinely. Toxic love.
Okay, I don't have a title for my piece, but here it goes. My mother once said that she should have aborted me instead of the one before. Maybe she was joking or serious, but she said nothing more. That statement could have caused damage, but I managed to banish the emotional wound that it caused, asking God, why is she my mother? Couldn't you have chosen another? Someone who will love me, respect me, and wouldn't say things to hurt me or make me feel neglected. Nevertheless, as I got older, I realized my mother was mentally, emotionally, and spiritually unstable, unable to give me those things I craved. Yet, saved by the grace of God, He enlightened me to heal, forgive, and understand some things you go through are out of your control. Other things are choices of your own. All things are to build you to become and do. I vowed to love my children, to build them in a way no words man can say would ever tear them down or make them feel less than in any way. Having learned at an early age that whatever a child hear, see, feel, or allowed to speak is their beginning stage. As they learn, develop, and grow into whom God knows, to love a child doing their wrong, but to be courageous to teach them in those moments what morally right will shed light onto the path of righteousness. Always respect another person's opinion. Their opinion doesn't make them right or wrong, but having one will make them feel they belong. Never degrade or make another feel less than. Your words can be a hindrance or a helping hand. Understand we all serve a purpose, even if the purpose is to be a lesson for someone else. And you can always love people, even if it's at a distance from self.
Okay, so I kind of want to say after reading my poem that my parents definitely did the best that they could with the resources and the knowledge that they were given growing up. So I, have come to terms and been able to forgive and give my parents for, feeling like toxic love was all I can get. And, I've had conversations with my mom and my dad where they'll both say, our relationship was toxic, like us raising you guys, and arguing around you and showing you guys, the bad side of the marriage all the time, more bad than good. They were able to, come to terms with it and apologize to me, for that upbringing, because they realized, like, after my brother's death, like, everybody went through the stage where we kind of separated, and we were able to, like, really dig deep and look at ourselves and say, wow, that was wrong of me, or, wow, I was really depressed in those moments without being, conscious of it in those moments that it was happening. Later, we were able to all self-reflect and say, this wasn't right, or, I'm sorry that I did that. So definitely will, want to say I love my parents from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate all the sacrifices made, all the body rubs they gave me when I was sick. I've never went without, like, ever. And although I grew up in a toxic household, I'm glad that my parents are the people they are today, and they were able to self-reflect and figure out that the way that they were raising their children in the past wasn't right, and so they were able to correct some things. And my relationship with my parents is the best it has ever been, I can honestly say now. I'm sad to have had a tragedy happen in order for that to occur, but that's my reality.
Okay. I'm gonna piggyback on what you said as it relates to your parents doing the best that they possibly can. I can definitely relate with that, because as I gotten older, I realized there are a lot of things that my mom endured and went through, and I kind of figured it was something. I just didn't know exactly what it was that it could have been. But as I learned the experiences that she had as a child growing up, it helped me to understand why she responded in the way that she did. So with that being said, like, I realized, okay, I was right. Something was wrong, There were many times where she not only would say things that wasn't right, but her action and reaction to a lot of things, I'm just like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on?
Just angry.
Right.
I was saying that to my mom the other day, and she was like, we was reflecting together, and I was like, wow, I can recall this moment where, you was really angry, and you did, like, the way you responded to this, it was just like, it shook me up. Like, I feel like it caused me to have anxiety, because I'm like, always just walking on eggshells around her, like I didn't want to do nothing. I felt like she was going to be so mad at me, and she was able to say, you know what, I'm sorry for those things, because I didn't realize how angry I was or what I was projecting on you. And it's just a good feeling to, be healing with your parents.
I know for me, one of the things that I haven't really said it to my mom, but what I went through as a child into my teenage years,
Mm-hmm.
I started to keep a distance to stay out the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want the wrath to come
Mhm.
through and knock me off my feet.
Yeah.
So I would keep a distance intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
And even as an adult, I remember once my grandmother asked me, she made a statement. She was like, "Your mom thinks that you don't like her." And I'm like, "What? I love my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love my mom.
Mhm.
I do
Mhm.
whatever
Mm-hmm.
for my mother,
Mhm.
okay? Whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. I would do it. If I'm able to do it, it's gonna happen, period." And I told my grandmother, I was like, no, I love my mom.
Yeah.
I just don't be in her way,
Yeah.
you know?
I can.
And so my grandmother was like, well, she thinks that you don't love her. And I was like, and it was because of the things that I went through as a child.
Mhm,
Like, I believe
mhm.
my mother started to think about how she treated me and the
Mhm.
things that she said to
It's
me.
like guilt.
Right.
Mhm.
And I exactly what I told my grandmother. I
Mhm.
said, oh, I get it. She's feeling a little guilty about how she was towards me.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but the reality is, I've already forgiven her. I
Mhm.
forgave her when I was a teenager because in that moment, like, literally, God showed me, your mother has a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, she does have a mental issue.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't cray,
Yeah.
you know, but, you know, don't push the buttons.
Right.
you know?
Right.
Really, that's what a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. And so, the thing that I had to tell my mother, I'm sorry, not my mother, the thing I had to tell my grandmother was, because I realized that she is who she is, and I really feel in my heart that if she knew better, she would have done better,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I'm not mad or
Mhm.
angry about
Mhm.
what I experienced. You know, yes, at the time
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
but as an adult and finding God and
Yeah.
knowing that God resides within me,
Yeah.
you know, God can forgive us for
Mhm.
everything that we do, so why
Mhm.
can't we forgive one another?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was my point of, okay, I have to forgive my mom.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah.
I'm the firstborn.
Yeah.
I'm like a trial error.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she was young when she gave birth to me.
Same.
You know,
same.
16. I think, yeah, she was 16 years old when she
Yeah.
gave birth
My
to
mother
me.
got pregnant at 16, had me at 17.
And so that may have been the same scenario. I'm not really positively sure. I know she was 16 when she got pregnant. She was still in high school. That much I do remember. And she didn't go to prom and all that because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So I realized that. And then, like I said, with the things that she went through as a child, you know, I completely understand it. So that's the reason why for me, being a parent of two girls, I made it my business to make sure that I gave them that love and support that I felt I didn't get,
Uh-huh.
you know, and that's simply because, like I said, I understand that my mom wasn't able to give me that level that I felt I needed, but like in reality, it showed me who I can be and what I can give,
Mhm.
you know, and so that's the reason why I mainly focused on making sure that my daughters would feel the love, the support. I would give them respect. I would
Mhm.
allow them to speak their mind respectfully. Okay?
Mhm.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay? So, you know, that was a lot of the reason why, like, a lot of people look at my relationship with my daughters and they're like, oh my God,
Mhm.
they're like really good girls.
Mhm.
That's because I instilled a lot in them growing up. And I really think a lot of people don't realize that I don't care if that child is 1 year old and 12 months, however you want to say it. That child really began to learn
Mhm.
from the day they come out of the womb,
Mhm.
technically. You know, so I made sure my no was no,
Mhm.
my maybe, and their eyes was yes. So there was always hopeful. If I said maybe, oh, she said maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how did you figure that?
If
Well,
you
every
said
time
no.
you say maybe, you always turn around and say yes. And if you said no, you meant no. You know, that maybe was like that borderline. Okay, we'll see. You know. So, like even when as they were growing up, the experiences that they had with other kids.
Mhm.
You know, I remember my oldest daughter. She came home one day and she said that this girl at school called her a geek monster. Okay, yeah. First grade now, first grade. So where are they getting that terminology from?
At home.
Okay. So that's why I say you have to be careful
You
what your
do.
children hear and
You
see.
do. What they
Because
consume around other kids.
They not only
especially.
repeat it, but they act it out.
Mhm.
They literally act it out.
Mhm.
Okay. So when my daughter told me that, I was like, "What you say to her?" I just didn't say nothing because I didn't know what that was. So I was like, "Oh, she must be fat." My daughter said, "No, mommy, you said thick. You told me to never say fat, because you know fat can be
Yeah.
offensive. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?" So I was offended from a child.
Right, right.
I didn't want to get
Right.
on the wall.
Like, what you mean?
So I said, "Okay, I'm sorry. I mean thick. Was she thick?" She was like, "Yes." I said, "Oh, it's a little bit of jealousy. See, sometimes you're going to encounter little girls and maybe even little boys
Mhm.
who don't like you because of the way you look. Don't like you because of how you present yourself. Don't like you because of the way you talk. It's a lot of reasons that people have for not liking you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't define you, okay? So I thank you for correcting me, for calling the little girl fat. Well, anyway, I thank you for correcting me. Yes, she was thick, but no, you're not a geek monster. So I
Yeah.
literally had to tell my
Yeah.
daughter what a geek monster was at the age of 6. Like, really? I did though. I did simply because what you don't teach your children at
Mhm.
home, they will learn in the
Mhm.
streets.
I agree.
And the streets is not gonna deliver it the way that you're able and capable of delivering
I
it.
agree.
So therefore, if my kids came to me and asked me anything,
You tell me
I would tell them. I would explain it to them. I would tell them the reason why it's not right. The reason why you need to think about that. And that's another thing. I allow my children to make choices.
Mhm.
And after they tell me what it is that they want to do, I want to know why you choose that.
Yeah.
What's your reason for choosing that?
Yeah.
You know? And if they cannot give me a good answer,
Mhm.
you can think about it again then.
Yeah.
And don't give me, I don't know. That's the oldest one. She always say, I don't know. Oh, you know. I tell you what, go to your room until you figure it
And
out.
think about it. My mom was like the opposite. Like, she was like a helicopter mom. So, like, I would say she would hide and hinder me from a lot of things that I asked her about. And she would always, like, try to cover it up, or we'll talk about it later, or we wouldn't discuss it at all because she said so. And what she said, she said. And what she means, she means. So, you know, it was stuff I had to learn from outside. And in other people's eyes, me and my mom's relationship was always tight. It was always cool. But behind closed doors, like, we used to just go at it. Like, it was crazy. We would go days without talking to each other. She would get mad and she would call her stuff having her little attitudes, and she wouldn't speak to me, and that would hurt my feelings. So that was like a situation that occurred a lot that was like very toxic. But I had to, like, when I was healing, I had to learn how to set boundaries. Like you said, you know, your daughters can say what they need to say respectfully. I learned that on my own, how to come to my mom and set those boundaries respectfully, and let her know, this is what I need you to do. This is how I need to be loved. Like, I know you feel like, oh, you get me a gift, I should be fine, everything's gonna be okay. But no, I need us to talk it out. I need you to be able to, you know, be able to take responsibility of and acknowledge your actions and be able to take accountability, you know, for the things that I'm feeling, you know, even if you feel like it didn't happen like that, let's have a conversation about it instead of ignoring me or walking away from me. Like, so just being able to be honest with your parents and, like, really just respectfully going to them and saying, you know what you said that offended me, or what you did. Like, growing up, in our household, I felt like I couldn't do that, but my dad he would always say, if I offend you in a way, just come to me. So, say, Dad, I didn't like the way you said that, but where I was at, and like I would just keep everything in my head and try to figure everything out on my own and be like, you know what, no, I'm not going to talk to them because they know what they did. But in reality, sometimes our parents don't know, and they need for us to say, hey, let me bring this to your attention. I didn't like how you said that, or I didn't like how you did that, or just being able to acknowledge those things respectfully. And it just goes a long way. It just goes a really long way.
And truthfully, as a parent, it is very important to allow your children to speak how they feel, because we all have feelings, and even though you may have said something away, and the way that you intended for it to come out, or even for the other person to perceive it, a lot of times they don't necessarily perceive it that way. It all depends on what they're going through at the time, and even how they're feeling in that moment. It can be taken the wrong way. So that's the reason why me personally, I always ask, what do you mean? And I know a lot of people get mad at me about that sometimes, like, oh my God, why y'all asking that? Because I have my interpretation of what is meant by what is said, but at the same time, the way I'm interpreting it from you may not necessarily be the way you were meant for me to take it, So that's the reason why. And I know personally, like with my baby girl, had to take a breath of that one, because when I tell y'all,
that's you all over again.
She's not only just me all over again, but she's so straightforward and direct. I mean, direct.
I think those second borns, they know how to express themselves a little bit more.
The thing is, it will always be that direct, plain tone she would give me. I'm gonna give y'all an example.
Yeah.
Raven, why did you choose to do that? Because I wanted to. I'm sorry.
Straight like that. Well,
she was like, because I wanted to.
Next question.
What the hell you mean because you wanted to? Honestly, I just went left. And I was like, hold up. Who you think you're talking to? Well, Mama, you asked me why I did it. I gave you the answer. I did it because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was your tone. You need to change up how you saying that, because, you saying because you wanted to, you running this. No ma'am, you're not running nothing at all. So I had to learn that was her way of expressing herself. My youngest daughter is very direct, and a lot of times she shows no expression when she say certain things.
Yeah.
Absolutely no expression. Now the oldest one, she think everything funny.
I think that could be a nervous condition, because I do that sometimes.
My oldest daughter told me that. She said,
it is.
Well, Mom, I think I laugh a lot because I'm kind of nervous about the outcome. So that's my way of not really showing that I'm nervous.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but that baby girl,
she gonna tell her like it is.
I don't want to do that. What you mean you don't want to do that? Mama, you asked me if I wanted to go to such and such. I don't want to do that. What? Can you switch up your tone? Can you make it a complete sentence, Mom? That is a complete sentence. Oh, okay, well, can you reword it?
Go because.
Right. Can you reword it or something? Because I just feel that you doing this intentionally, and truthfully, she wasn't. Because there were times where I would get in her butt about how she said what she said, and she would break down crying. I'm like, oh my goodness, she really didn't mean it. She was really just stating, and I'm like, okay, I had to regroup, because I didn't want to be that parent that's always down my child's throat and making her close up her throat chakra and not speak her truth, her heart, I didn't want to do that. So I was like, okay, Sean, get it together. Okay? Quintoria, you got this. Get it together. Snap back, okay? she's a child. You say you want your children to be able to express how they feel.
Mhm.
Allow her to express how she feels the way that is conducive for her,
Mhm.
but not disrespectful.
Yeah.
So technically, she wasn't being disrespectful. She was just expressing herself the way that she felt was necessary, and
Yeah.
that was just being direct.
Yeah. And
And now, at the age of 18, yes, my youngest is 18, getting ready to go to college. Whoop, whoop.
ooh,
Yay.
congrats to Raven.
And
She
now,
got accepted into
all of the
schools
colleges that she applied to, we still haven't heard from Georgia State yet, but we know she got into Clark, honey.
She
got
getting
into
there.
Georgia State. Okay.
Period.
Yes. Okay, so as it relates to I forgot what I was gonna say. Brain fart.
Sorry.
What was the last thing I said? Can we
Being
repeat?
conducive to their feelings and allowing them to express themselves.
Exactly, allowing them to express themselves, and as they get older, you still coach them through it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I had to do.
Yeah. You're
I was
still a
like,
parent,
okay,
no
listen.
matter.
Now that's a way to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you at least put a smile on your face, you know? So I won't feel like you know,
Yeah.
you coming at me hard,
Yeah.
you know? Mom, why I gotta do all that? I'm like, sometimes you have to do things that's appeasing to others.
Compromise so that the relationship can work. And that's what any relationship is like. This
True.
is how I need you to do it. It's
True.
no.
And she's looking at me like, but why I gotta do all that? You my mom. You know
You know
me.
me. That's
I'm
how
like,
we
I
look at
know
it
you,
a lot of
but
times.
everybody else doesn't know you.
Yeah.
You know, so she's gotten better, I must say. She has gotten better, and I'm really proud of her. Like, I
Yeah.
really am. She's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's very important that you allow your children to express themselves, because you don't want them to close up that throat chakra, and you don't want that heart chakra to be shut down. You don't want that root chakra where they feel insecure
Mm-hmm.
about themselves. You don't want them to the sacral. You don't want them to lack the confidence of being able to speak their truth. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is so very important,
Mm-hmm.
even as children. Like, it's so vital. And being that they are children, that's the foundation. That's the starting point. And you know, sometimes they don't even realize why they feel the way that they feel as adults.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's simply because a lot of the stuff that they went through as a child.
Yeah, they don't know
You know?
their triggers. They're not
Exactly.
able to pinpoint them. And another thing I want to piggyback off of what you said, it will close up their throat chakra, but it will also distance you from your child. Like, I know in my case, I became very distant towards my mom, where I just wanted to be by myself. I didn't want to, talk. I just felt like our relationship was better